I'm ready, equipped, and I'm going to wait in front of my door because Zay will pick me up now and we will make our way to the lab. Hello, Zay.
Hello. So we are arriving to Guia Marine Laboratory.
Yes. Fantastic view, perfect place for a lab if you ask me. This is José Paula, an ex-university colleague of mine who is now leading the Behavioural Ecology and Evolution group at Guia Marine Laboratory, mainly researching fish behavior and the evolution of intelligence in marine ecosystems. I visited Zay and his team to understand a bit more about what we know regarding fish intelligence and learn how they study cognitive functions in one of my favorite types of fish.
We work with the cleaner fishes from all over the world, mostly with wrasses from the Indo-Pacific and also with gobies from the Caribbean and Brazil. And we are generally interested in the behavioral evolution and how intelligence arises in the ecosystems and how this intelligence is important for the ecosystems as well, and in the social interactions between individuals that arise from this intelligence.
Cleaner fish are fish with a specialized feeding strategy, providing a cleaning service to other fish, referred to as clients. Hi, cleaners have cleaning stations where the clients go to have their ectoparasites, dead skin, and infected skin removed and eaten by the cleaners. These guys are like little car wash stations, but for fish. Cleaners get to eat and the clients get to be cleaned.
Cleaner fish, first, they are the best fish in the world to study and they look super cool. And then...
No! I agree.
They are really cool individuals because they engage in social interactions at almost at a higher level than we do. So they can interact with more than 2,000 clients in one day, and it means that they are always doing something, and they actually, some of them evolved to be manipulative in these interactions. So they prefer to eat the mucus instead of the parasites, so it makes them trying to trick the clients.
The behavior Zed just mentioned is called cheating. Despite the rich buffet of ectoparasites and dead skin offered to the cleaners by the clients, cleaners from the Labroidae family have a special preference for the client's mucus, a protective layer over the fish's skin. So occasionally the cleaners will cheat, breaking the client's trust and eat their mucus, which doesn't leave the clients very happy. So in order to not lose clientele, cleaners have developed strategies to navigate interactions that might arise after they cheat.
So they need to remember these interactions to know who they were mean before to not be mean again, and who they were nice before to keep on going nice and to give the best outcome for these interactions. So it makes an amazing system to just ask intelligence questions.
How many species are you studying?
So right now we have some from the family Labroidae, and we also have gobies from the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And right now we have around five species of gobies that are also clean and others that don't, and six species of Labroides. Right now we only have 2 of them in the lab, but we are working on 6 of them. And the idea is to see if the differences in ecologies translate to different cognitive abilities.
Cool, we will look at them now. After a very interesting chat, the team guided me through the lab to where they keep their fish and where they perform different types of experiments to evaluate the cleaner's cognitive abilities. This is where you keep your experimental fishies?
Yes. So you have here Larabicus quadrilineatus, which is the facultative cleaner fish. They are cleaners only when they are juveniles, and then they become non-cleaners and they start eating on polyps. And then you have the star of the company, the cleaner wrasse, the Labroides imediatus. So we use plexiglass plates as surrogates for client fish, so we can test different things. So different colors and test partner choice experiments.
Check out gobies now. Also cleaner fishies. These ones are them.
This is a facultative cleaner. The name is Elacatinus figaro. Mm-hmm. Then we have Elacatinus punticulatus. This one is a tube.
Oh, he's
this one is bigger.
Does he get active when he sees people? He thinks food is coming?
Yeah.
So we expose them to 2 plates and we make them associate the plates with some characteristics. So for example, we associated them with size. So we did a small plate, a big plate, with color, so yellow and brown, and with the pattern. So the stripes, horizontal or vertical. Mm-hmm. The objective is to see if they learn to associate a characteristic with more food. So if they go for the correct plate, we leave both plates and they eat more. If they go to the wrong one, we remove the other one. Then to make sure that they learn, we reverse all the patterns, all the colors, all the sizes, and we're sure that it's not just a preference for a characteristic, it's that they
really
truly
learn.
learned.
And they learn.
We are not sure yet.
Okay.
We're in the middle of the reversal trial.
Okay. But the other labroids learn, right?
Yeah,
And we know that they learn. Yeah, that's really cool. So maybe these ones as well.
Now, do you want to see the fish in the mirror?
The mirror test is an attempt to determine if an animal has the ability of visual self-recognition by recognizing itself in the mirror. There is an ongoing debate between specialists in the field on whether this test should be applied in the same way to all species. But it is still considered a cognition hallmark across different species. So do they recognize themselves in the mirror?
Yes, they can. First you put the fish together with the mirror, and the first reaction that the fish is going to have is an aggressive reaction to the mirror. They will think, no, that's not me, that's someone else. So you'll be fighting a bit for days, and then they start to say, oh, okay, but actually when that fish moves, I move as well. And then they start to do the weirdest behavior possible, like swimming upside down, things that you normally don't see these fish doing, and we call them idiosyncratic behaviors. And it's a step for self-recognition for you to prove it. So they have to do these behaviors that are not normal in their repertoire, and then after, you measure as well the affiliation with the mirror. So when there's a mirror in the aquarium, then they start to understand that it's not another fish anymore. You see that they are not being aggressive against the mirror anymore, but they spend a lot of time next to the mirror compared to a white thing. And you have here, for example, controls, and you see that the fish are not necessarily passing more time next to this white place. This is basically mirrors but covered with a white piece of paper.
Yeah, just to compare with the
Just to
real
compare,
mirror.
exactly. And they don't spend more time next to these ones, and here they spend a lot of time just checking themselves. This is me, like, as we humans, we are a bit, we like to see ourselves in the mirror as well. And then we do a last confirmation test, which is making a tattoo to the fish under the chin. And so it's a place that they can only see if they look in the mirror. There's no way in their body they can see their chin like that. And then what they do, you see that there's a stone away from the mirror in the tank. So what they will do, if they understand that there's this mark here and they see it, they will start going in that stone and starting to scrap it, trying to remove the mark. And this is basically the same thing as we do in babies, in infants, to prove that they recognize themselves in the mirrors, or chimps or dolphins as well. You put a mark here, so you cannot see your forehead without the mirror, right? And you start to do this in front of the mirror to try to remove the mark, right? So the same thing for the cleaner fish. And yeah, that's basically how we do it.
Here are some animals that have passed the mirror test. Here are some that haven't. As you can see, our faithful companions are in this list. Dogs usually treat their reflection as another animal or just ignore it completely, and therefore do not pass all the mirror test stages. Now, what passing the mirror test means for an animal's overall intelligence or smartness is not yet really well understood, especially if you compare two different animals that interact with their environment in completely different ways, and whose intelligence might have evolved differently depending on their needs to survive. They probably recognize you guys as well, no?
Yes, they do.
Like
because
if
they associate us to the food, because when we come and
But any human, or they associate specific humans?
no,
Do you think
I
they
think
distinguish between
I
you
don't
guys?
think so.
Any
Yeah.
human.
Because I don't get here very
And then we start to dance. Yeah, so
Okay.
yes.
It would be cool if they kind
But
of
we can
know
make
you.
a study of that.
So Raul is using artificial intelligence to characterize these behaviors, and he can show you a bit how it is.
Computer stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
it looks nice.
That's a big part of science.
Yeah.
Computer for everyone. Finishing our tour. Up we go again. This is a nice view, by the way. Perfect view for a marine lab. Many of you ask about the intersection between computer science and marine biology. Here is a great example of that.
So this is the afterwards of the tracking. We use a tool just to track the points. Still have some mistakes, as you can see, and recorded some interactions for analyzing the interaction of the fishes. and this is the result that we got. We have a lot of videos, and to analyze all of the videos it would take a lot of time. By using deep learning in this case, we can relieve the human, so isn't prone to errors, isn't prone to fatigue. So yes,
very cool. Even though there are teams like this that dedicate themselves to studying these topics, there is still so much we don't know about animal intelligence. But strides in these areas of research are being taken, and I am all here for it. Why do you think it's cool or important to understand these abilities?
So we have this assumption that a lot of behaviors are innate and, let's say, simple, and that we humans develop a lot of acquired behaviors and sophistication, cognition and everything. And what's been showing more and more is actually even the definition of innate behavior is not that correct anymore. It's always a mixture of nature and nurture, and the cognition of all individuals depend on their environment, their ecology, obviously what's important for them on a daily basis. And a lot of things that we think that are unique from ourselves are not at all, and it's important for us to conserve something. It's important to actually understand it. And one thing that we've been realizing is that it's not only important to conserve species, but also to conserve functions. And in these functions, you can actually include behavioral functions, so services that the species do to the ecosystem due to their behavior. And this can change between individuals. So there's animals with different cultures between themselves, so different groups of populations behaving differently according to the social learning that they can do with the others. So if you don't know their behavior and their specific cognitive traits, you never know what they can do importantly for the ecosystem and for ourselves.
Bye, thanks guys.
Ciao.
This was an awesome afternoon. It was great to go back to a lab I worked in before many years ago, and it was awesome to learn all the things I did. So we don't really know if these fish are generally smarter or more intelligent than your dog, because those are simply very difficult things to analyze. The only thing we can really say is that they seem to be able to perform a task, recognizing themselves in the mirror after these trials, that dogs can't. At least I hope I managed to convince you that there is more to these fish than meets the eye. If you still don't think these fish are cool, there's nothing I can do for you. I really want to thank José Paula and his team over at the lab and Laboratório da Guia as well for having me and explaining me all of these awesome stuffs. Thank you, it was awesome. If you are interested in learning more about them, I will leave some information down below, check it out. I want to make more on-the-ground, hands-on videos like this, and if you want to support that, you can check out my Patreon, consider donating. I am hosting a trip to Indonesia in June this year. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a great adventure. We're gonna be hiking and diving and chilling at the beach, and if this is something that seems cool to you, check out the itinerary and all the information down below. Let me know if you have any questions about these awesome fish down in the comments. Thank you very much to all my patrons for supporting what I do, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.